Okay, so let's jump right in. I want you to think for a second about a creature with some abilities that sound like they're straight out of science fiction.
Now, I know what you're thinking. A superhero from a comic book, maybe? Some kind of alien monster from a blockbuster movie? Nope. The answer is actually way closer than you think. In fact, one might be crawling around just outside your door right now.
That's right, we're talking about the humble beetle. We see them all the time, but we hardly ever stop to think that we might be looking at one of the most successful, most resilient, and, well, frankly, one of the most superpowered life forms on our entire planet.
And when I say successful, I'm not just throwing a word around. I mean, they are dominant on a scale that's almost hard to wrap your head around. Forget about lions or sharks. When it comes to sheer numbers and success, the title of Earth's hidden rulers really belongs to them.
Let's just start with the numbers, because they are wild. We know of over 400,000 different species of beetles. And get this, that's just what we've managed to find and name so far. Scientists figure there could be millions more out there, just waiting to be discovered.
To really put that into perspective, beetles make up about 25% of all known animal life. Think about that for a second. If you could pick any 4 animals on Earth at random, statistically speaking, one of them is going to be a beetle. It's absolutely staggering. This incredible abundance led a famous biologist to joke that if there is a divine creator, they must have an inordinate fondness for beetles. And when you look at the data, it's kind of hard to argue with that. But their success isn't just about the sheer numbers, it's also about their incredible design.
So how did they pull this off? Well, for one thing, they are basically nature's little armored vehicles. They are quite literally built like tiny living tanks.
The key to this whole design is something called the elytra. These are their front wings, but they're not soft and flimsy for flying. Oh no, they're hardened into a tough, protective shield that covers their delicate flight wings and their soft body underneath. It's just a brilliant piece of natural engineering.
And some beetles take this to the absolute extreme. Case in point, the diabolical ironclad beetle. And yes, that is its real name. Its exoskeleton is so unbelievably tough that it can literally survive being run over by a car. In fact, we're studying its unique interlocking structure right now to try and design stronger materials for everything from airplanes to body armor.
But it's not just about playing defense. Let's talk about pure, raw strength. The dung beetle holds the official title for the strongest animal on the planet, pound for pound. This little guy can pull a staggering 1,141 times its own body weight.
To give you a picture of how insane that is, for an average person to match that feat, you would have to pull 6 fully loaded double-decker buses by yourself. And all of that incredible strength, by the way, is dedicated to rolling around little balls of dung. You gotta respect the commitment.
But their abilities go so far beyond just brute force and tough armor. Beetles have some truly unexpected superpowers that reveal a kind of hidden genius you'd never expect.
Remember our friend the dung beetle? Well, it turns out heavy lifting isn't its only talent. Some species are actually expert astronomers. At night, they'll climb on top of their dung ball, do this little orientation dance to get a snapshot of the sky, and then use the faint light of the Milky Way galaxy to roll their prize away in a perfectly straight line. It's actual celestial navigation.
And this adaptability is a theme you see again and again. You find beetles thriving in some of the most extreme places on Earth, from scorching hot deserts to frozen tundras. Then there's the bombardier beetle, which defends itself by shooting a spray of boiling hot chemicals at its enemies. We're even discovering that some can learn and solve simple problems. Tiny brains, extraordinary abilities.
Okay, so they're strong, they're tough, they're surprisingly smart. Very cool. But here's maybe the most important part of this whole explainer. Why do they actually matter? Sure, the cool factor is high, but their role in our ecosystem is absolutely critical.
So, what it really comes down to is this. Beetles are the planet's silent, tireless, and absolutely essential cleanup crew. They break down all the dead stuff, plants, animals, waste, and recycle all those nutrients back into the soil. Without them, the world would pretty quickly be buried in filth.
Now, their relationship with us humans, well, it's complicated. On the one hand, sure, some species are huge agricultural pests. They cause billions of dollars in damage to crops. But on the other hand, so many of them are heroes in our story. They eat pests like aphids, they help pollinate our plants, and like we just said, they keep the entire planet clean.
Let's just be perfectly clear about the bottom line here. If all the beetles on Earth were to just vanish tomorrow, entire ecosystems would start to unravel, they would collapse. They are truly a foundational pillar of life as we know it.
So the next time you see one of these little guys scuttling across the sidewalk, maybe just pause for a second. Remember, you're not just looking at a bug. You're looking at an ancient survivor, a master engineer, and one of the most important life forms on Earth. And that leaves us with a pretty big thought. If we're overlooking all the genius packed into something as common as a beetle, what else out there are we failing to see?